everyone, and welcome to lesson 11.3, day 1. Today we are going to talk about the volume of a pyramid. The volume of a pyramid is going to be found by taking 1/3 of the area of the base times the height. So essentially the volume we had for our prism, but only 1/3 of it. Now be cautious with a pyramid to use the correct value for the height. Again, this height is this perpendicular distance from the vertex to the base. That sometimes might get confused with what we call the slant height, which goes down our triangular face. This is known as the slant height. That's the L. For the area, we don't want the slant height. We want that vertical height. And we'll talk about that as we get into the lesson. Another thing to be careful of is when it comes to, again, our big B, that is the area of your base shape. So it could be a square, a rectangle, sometimes a triangle, or something else as well. So please be careful when calculating the area of your base shape. So on the first one, we are looking for the volume of this square pyramid. So we're going to start off looking for the area of the base, which again is a square. So 6 times 6 is 36. The height this time, from top to the bottom, is 5. And so when we calculate the actual area, we're going to take 1/3 of area of the base times the height. So when it comes to typing this in the calculator, you can type 1 divided by 3 times 36 times 5 to get 60. You could do area of the base times the height and then divide that by 3. You're still getting 60. Either way, again, you get 60 cubic centimeters as our volume. There is one then for you to try. This time you are finding the volume of the rectangular pyramid. All right, in the next one, we are looking for first the height of our pyramid and then calculating the volume. So notice this is an example of them giving us the slant height as opposed to our vertical height from the top to the bottom. So this is what we need to actually calculate volume. So step 1, we are going to calculate what that height is. So notice on the bottom here, when we draw in this little right triangle, we're given the hypotenuse 12.1. We know this base down here is going to be half of our side length. Half of 9 is 4.5. And then we can calculate for the height. We have the hypotenuse squared equals h squared plus 4.5 squared. And we're going to subtract over the 4.5 squared from the 12.1 squared. So 12.1 squared minus 4.5 squared is 126.16. And then we are going to square root that answer to get our height value of about 11.2. So again, we got 126.16. And then after we square rooted, about 11.2 for the height. Now that we have the height, we can calculate the area of our, again, square base. So area of the base is 9 times 9, so 81. And then when we calculate the volume, 1/3 area of the base, which is 81, times our newly found height of 11.2, 1/3 times 81 times 11.2 is 302.4. And this time we have cubic feet. So now there is one for you to try. Again, you are going to start off on this one by first calculating what your height is of your triangle, or the pyramid, excuse me, and then calculate the volume. All right, moving on to the back. We are given in our top example on the back page that we have a pyramid that has a square base with a volume of 32 cubic inches and a height of 6 cubic inches. And we want to work backwards to find the length of a side of the base. So again, think about a square base. If we know our area of that base is whatever that area of the base is, we can eventually work to find what the side length is because we know these are the same size. So what we're going to do is we are first going to plug into that volume formula the pieces of info that we do have. First thing we have is that the volume is 32. We also then are given that the height this time is 6. So if we want to work backwards to solve for big B, I'd like to start this off by undoing this division by 3, right? We have that 1/3. So if we multiply both sides by 3, we end up being able to cancel out this 1/3, and 3 times 32 is 96. Divide over that 6 so that we have big B by itself, which is then going to equal 96 divided by 6, which is 16. Now again, that's the area of this square, and we know the area of a square is side times side, or side squared. So if I square root this value, that's going to help me find just what one side would be, and that's 4 inches. On our next example, they are giving us again that the volume of our pyramid is 6,000. And this time they're telling us that the area of the base, big B, is 300. We want to work backwards to find the height of the pyramid. So again, we know that our volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. This time we are given the volume to be 6,000. And we are also given area of the base is 300. So again, we can start this by multiplying the 6,000 by 3. So we end up with 18,000. And then from there, now that we got rid of the 1/3, we know it equals 300 times our height. We can then divide over the 300 to get our height of 60 meters this time. All right, there is now one for you to try. This time they are giving you a triangular pyramid whose volume is 7,661.3. Area of the base is 676. What is your height? Last problem type of the day, we are looking at the area of the composite figure given our pyramid and then a prism. So looking at the prism, okay, pyramid, we know we need the area of our base. And in this case, our base is a square with sides of 4 and 4. So if we multiply 4 times 4, we end up with an area of the base of 16. And then the height of our pyramid is 2. So when we look for the volume of our pyramid, it is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So 1/3 times 16 times that height of 2, we get about 10.7 is our volume for the pyramid. Now the prism actually has the same base area, right, 4 and 4, but this time the height of our prism is 8. So we look for the volume, area of the base, again we are using 16, height then is 8, so 16 times 8, total of 128 for the volume of the prism. Now our total area then will come from adding those two together. So 128 plus the 10.7 gives us a total of 138.7 cubic feet. All right, the last one is for you to try. You are calculating the volumes of your pyramid and prism to find your total value. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll work more with these in class.